Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of What the FICC. I am Spencer Israel. That's Ian Cully, head of FICC at All Star Charts. That's fixed income, commodities, and currencies. Ian, how are we doing today?
Excellent. Ready for the holiday weekend.
Oh man, you
Ready to
and
get
me
out.
both. You and me both. But before we get to the 3-day weekend, it is the first day of September. It's not the first day of fall, although people might think it is. Regardless, in honor of that, we thought, let's take a look at seasonality because we talk about seasonality a lot with regards to the stock market, but the reality is there are other seasonality trends that you've observed. Well, not just you, that have been observed in the commodity markets. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. The seasonal winds, that they're changing. I mean, I got out in the pool yesterday
Oh
here in
yeah.
Florida and it was low 80s.
Hey
So
man,
it was a bit chilly. I'm not
I
going to
w-
lie. It was a bit
I
chilly.
I went for a walk this morning. It was 57 degrees out. It hasn't been in the 50s since like May, maybe April. I don't know. So yeah, the winds are changing. And so we thought, okay, with the change of the seasons, let's take a look at some seasonality trends. Historically speaking, of course, this does not mean that these trends have to happen this year or every year, but historically, they happen. And we've got some trends to watch for in the oil market, in the sugar market, in the cocoa market. So where do you want to start?
I want to start with just energy. And
Okay.
I just want to break down just seasonality and kind of how to look at seasonality, how to incorporate it into a strategy, and then highlight three strong seasonal patterns up ahead in the next couple months. So first, I have a triple pane chart of crude oil, heating oil, and gasoline futures. Now, these three commodities are
Hmm.
highly correlated. It's crude oil and its two distillates. What's interesting is you see slight variations in the price action, specifically between gasoline futures and crude oil. Heating oil and crude, they look very similar, but the gasoline bottomed late last November, early December, while crude oil and heating oil didn't really bottom until later this spring. So what's interesting is when we look at the seasonality chart, heating oil bottoming in May of this year and then starting to rally kind of fits with its seasonal tendencies. Now, this is
Sure.
data going over about roughly the last 30 years. Now, for gasoline, it begins to pick up in terms of seasonal tailwinds begin to pick up in December and run through January and February. So again, it kind of makes sense to see gasoline dig in here late last year and begin to pick up the pace here, whereas heating oil didn't do it until May. So is that a buy signal? Nah, it's not a buy signal, but it's information and it's something just to keep in mind as price comes into critical levels of supply or demand. So looking at crude oil, looking at heating oil, look at gasoline futures, before we want to step in and start buying strength, they need to take out these clear resistance levels that are highlighted with the red dotted line. I mean, crude oil is doing it today. I believe the front month is trading around $85 right now. That's right. October crude just slipped back below $85. So it's breaking out as long as crude oil is above 83.50, like it long. But I think it's
Okay.
really interesting to see here how heating oil again bottomed. It started ripping higher in August, which is its strongest seasonal month of the year.
But
So
now we're approaching a seasonal weak period for heating oil.
we're approaching a seasonally weak period, which will be interesting to see how it plays out. September's also, expect strong seasonal tailwinds in September as well. Uh, we'll see how things play out for gasoline. In terms of it, having to pretty bearish month over the past, I don't know, 15 plus years for gasoline. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It's been really resilient. What I really wanted to show with these energy charts is just that, you know, how seasonal tailwinds can affect price, how it shows up in the charts, and that they're not necessarily buy or sell signals so much as information in terms of the environment. Think of kind of like sentiment. It's not as important as price or momentum or any relative strength studies. Something, you know, further down the list, but still information nonetheless, and information we like to pay attention to. And let's move on to those three big seasonal tailwinds this fall. And I know we've covered a couple of these charts. We covered a couple of these markets on Wednesday, but when we look at sugar, here's sugar coiling right around that $24 level.
You know what?
Big base breakout, tight consolidation. You know, we really like sugar futures. And what's interesting is how well sugar has done during a seasonally weak period.
This seasonal chart, but the seasonal chart looks the exact opposite of the energy one, right? Energy historically, you know, weak in the fall. Sugar clearly not so much.
Not so much. Not so much. Now, there's another energy contract we'll get to later that's extreme. That tends to catch higher during the fall. But okay, in terms of gasoline, heating oil, crude oil, that's right. So September, big month coming for sugar. Look at that.
Oh,
whoa. Strong in the back half of this month. Now, this next chart,
wait, I have to get back to. Hold on. Wait, what is the? Oh, this is through September. What is this?
This is the September. This is you know, 30 days.
So this is just for September.
This is just for September.
Okay, strong back half of the month historically. Wow.
And then we move into October.
Oh.
Now, this is data going back to 1961.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. So, I mean,
60
again,
years?
like, I have to check the data on this one. This is a bit overwhelming for my taste. Nonetheless, sugar is heading into a seasonally favorable period. Definitely want to keep sugar on the radar and keep that breakout level. Let's call it 26.15. You know, gets back above there. I mean, we could see 31.50 easily in the next month or so, next 6 weeks.
This is, you know, I keep a list of things that either we talk about or JC or Straza, Patrick, things that they talk about, and things that I'm interested in maybe buying. And sugar, after Wednesday's show, sugar is on my list, or I should say cane is on my list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. I like cane. I like cocoa too. And I'm going to show another cocoa chart. We talked about cocoa on Wednesday.
We did.
I'm not going to get real obnoxious with those 40, 50-year bases. But this is a decade-long base. Cocoa's on the verge of challenging those 2011 highs. Coming off of a very strong seasonal period. September's also a strong month for cocoa. October, not so much.
This is weird to me. Why are May and October randomly seasonally weak months for cocoa?
No idea.
Or historically weak months. That's, you know what? I mean, it probably has something to do with the harvest, right? But that's so strange. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, this is data going back to 1960. What's interesting is next month, September's just steady returns.
Not today.
What's that?
Not on the first. That's today.
Not on the first. And you know what's really interesting?
Yeah, it's up today.
It's not.
Oh, I had no idea. I had a 50-50 shot. That was wrong.
Yeah, it's you know, it's down slightly, and
okay,
you know, it's give it some room to dance. I really like really like that cocoa breakout. and it's resolving higher from that tight flag here or pennant after breaking out of this, multi-year ascending triangle, getting the bullish momentum there, hitting over bot. And here's a little closer look, maybe 38.50. I know the extension levels at 38.85. You want to bring it down a little bit around 38.50. Use that as an area to feed the ducks, take some profits. Because remember, we zoom out, big level here at that 37.75. Who knows? Price might not respect that level. It was from 2011. It could rip right through it and then maybe pull back.
Yeah.
As we reach a seasonally weak period in October and find support there. We'll see into the end of the year. But just something to keep in mind. I think it's interesting. I love to weigh and take in any and all information that I can and filter it. And I really enjoy these seasonality charts and keeping an eye on the potential tailwinds or headwinds up ahead.
Okay, so what is the one energy market that is approaching a strong time of the year, historically speaking?
Natty gas.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense because it's strong in the winter, right? I mean,
yes.
People use it more.
They do use it more in the winter. It's interesting. It's the same for heating oil. I mean, you guys still use heating oil up there, right?
I don't even know what heating oil is. What is heating oil?
Well, this is also, I think heating oil also.
You've talked about it, and I never even asked you what it is. What is it?
Heating oil. They still use heating oil to heat homes, I believe, in the Northeast. But I believe this contract also covers diesel. I think it's a very similar distillate. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah.
October,
I have no idea, to answer your question. I have no idea. But back to natty gas.
Back to natty gas. Again, heading into a seasonally strong period. This is September, so a little weakness here to start the month, and then things should begin to pick up. They have over the past 25 plus years. And then October is another great month for natural gas. So just keeping my eye on, oh, excuse me, this is cotton. This is the wrong chart. Let me get to the right. Hold on. Here we go. This is September. Sorry about that. I think the October month was a bit wild too. It looked very similar to the sugar contract October seasonality. And I something about this. I look at this chart. I look and I don't know. This looks too good to be true, Spencer. It just looks too good to be true for sugar. Nevertheless, I'm watching that breakout level. I want to get aboard. Again, we trade price. We don't trade seasonality, and just something to keep in mind. But for natty gas, breaking above that 285 level. I got an email yesterday asking about the breakout level for natty gas futures. Again, on the continuation chart, so the front month, I want to see get back above that 285 level. December contract as well above that, but looking at the October contract, it's close. It's close. I think the high today was 286. So it's working on it. It's trying to break out. And then we look at UNG, that level, it's around 7.25. Let's call it 750. If and when UNG gets back above 750, I think we're looking at, a 10 handle, potentially 16. Again, we zoom back out. Natty gas doesn't stay down here for long. Notice how this market bottoms. It's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. And getting back to seasonality, January is by far the worst month of the year for natural gas. December's not great either. Look at that sell-off. Remember the sell-off in natural gas futures at the beginning of the year? It was just insane. I think that's some of the the largest 4-week ROC rate of change figures or readings in the history of natural gas futures earlier
Wait,
this year.
all right. I mean, that's confusing to me because here I thought that winter would be the strongest period for natural gas, but I guess fall is stronger. Clearly, that's what the data shows, and winter
Well, I guess
sucks.
people load up on it, right? People, they
Yeah,
do all
I
their
suppose
buying, there's
so.
demand, and then, I think
Yeah.
in this past season, Europe had a mild winter. And I think
Hmm.
that definitely attributed to the sell-off. But we'll see. See.
Yep. Makes sense.
So those are the big three seasonal trends I see, heading into the latter half of the year, at least from the commodity space. Grains, grains tend to have strong seasonal periods in the spring. So again, it's the softs and natty gas. Natty gas that really has my attention.
Now, how much of an emphasis do you put on seasonality? Because you know, I could see a scenario, or I could understand why commodities traders would put more of an emphasis on seasonality over like equities traders, because you know commodities people need to focus on the weather and the harvest and all these things, and consumer behavior, like heating their homes when it gets cold and whatever. So I could understand why it's more of a thing on in the commodities market, but for you specifically, how closely do you, or like how much stock do you put in this essentially?
I definitely put in far more thought, as you pretty much laid out, when it comes to commodities and seasonality than equities and seasonality. I love the seasonality charts and the cycle composites that Grant has been putting together for the S&P 500, and the fact that the S&P has been following that composite so closely is just amazing. It's just wild. But I don't really put a whole lot of weight on seasonality when it comes to equities. And honestly, I don't put a whole lot of weight on seasonality when it comes to commodities, more so than equities, but still not a whole lot. I like to use it as a heads up. Yeah, I like to use it similar to positioning.
Yeah.
The scene is set. The conditions are there. Whether or not anything's going to materialize, I have no idea. And at the end of the day, I don't need to get any of those narratives correct. I mean, all I have to do is I have to get price. That's it. That's the only narrative that matters. That's the only thing that really counts. That's the only thing that's the only way to keep score. So yeah, I just focus on price.
Fair. It's definitely it's easy, and I'm as guilty of as anyone of letting other things, take up too much space in your head, and letting all the noise in, and whether it's historical trends or what this person said or what you think, right? And you guys are definitely much better at tuning that stuff out and focusing on price, because that's all that matters. And sometimes I get bogged down in the why. But why? Why is it moving? Why is it moving? And the why, frankly, sometimes it matters, but usually it doesn't matter. Right?
Yeah, no, I focus on price, but I don't misunderstand. Like, fundamentals drive markets.
Right.
For sure, 100%. I just don't know what those fundamentals are. And in the moment, when I'm on the right side of the chart, guessing at what a fundamental what's actually driving a particular market just distracts me from trading the market in real time.
And you know what? It's probably helpful to just have a general sense, sort of what we're doing now with seasonality. It's helpful to have a general sense of how a certain market will, generally speaking, react to a certain headline.
Yep.
And if you sort of have that in the back of your mind for, things like economic data points or for stocks, it's earnings or whatever. And if you have a general sense in the back of your mind of how this market reacts to that news, then that can help you in the moment, right? But it doesn't help you in the moment to like try to understand why it's moving the way why something is moving up or down, right? That's not going to help your trade, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
In seasonality, it's similar to a top-down approach to the markets in terms of intra-market analysis and finding where the relative strength is, from between asset classes, and using that information and how they're behaving relative to each other to help you narrow down and find an area of the market where you want to go hunting for buy signals. Seasonality is similar in that it helps direct one's attention to where there could be possible opportunities in the coming months. And that's exactly what we want to be doing today is highlighting, look, sugar and cocoa already look great, and those trends could continue to rip in the next couple months because they're heading into some really, really, really seasonally strong periods. And natty gas has been basing for months now, and bullish momentum has been improving. Yes, it's still in a bearish regime, but it looks really constructive. And if it starts to get a bid, I wouldn't be surprised, and it could really get going as natty gas likes to do. And it just so happens that in the next couple of months, like this is the time of year that an explosive rally will likely take place.
Yep. Okay, let me look on the chat for a second. Do we have anything there? Jonathan asked about natty gas. We answered that question. Wavy, anyone paying attention to the dollar today? I did. I mean, I saw it. It's up. But
Yes.
I don't know, but it's back to where it was on Tuesday. So 3 days ago.
I'm bullish the dollar. I'm bullish
Yeah.
the dollar, baby.
Yeah.
I'm bullish the
know.
dollar as long as it's above that 103.50. I was actually watching precious metals today. Silver continuing to come off, I think third session in a row.
Silly question for you, Ian. I know sometimes the futures markets can have wonky hours, but are they also closed on Monday?
Most of them are closed on Monday.
I know that the bond market and the futures market can sometimes be different or have different closures and openings in the stock market. But futures are mostly closed. Is the bond market's closed, right? It's got to be.
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't checked. As far as I'm concerned, I'm closed.
Nice.
I'm completely unplugging. I'm hanging with the family. I'm not gonna plug back into the afternoon. I know grains are gonna be closed on Monday. Chicago, I would imagine Chicago is gonna be closed on Monday.
Bond market is closed on Monday. Yes.
Bond market is closed on Monday. Yeah.
But the difference is the bond market, like just to give you one example, the bond market is also closed on Columbus Day. Stock market's not, right? So there are, I don't know why they do that. But there are different days and even sometimes there are like half days for one and not half days for the other. It's sort of confusing, but I don't know.
You got to be on top of those half days.
Yeah, man.
You got to be on top of those half days. I got caught by a half day recently. Broker called me up. Ian, what are you doing?
Really?
I'm just teasing, but yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Always this is 101, right? But like always know the hours, right?
Yes.
Of a market if you're going to be trading in that market, right? Yeah.
It gets back to, I get caught up, being hungry for information.
Yep.
Being hungry for data and like just taking it all in and doing my best to filter that data down and get rid of all that noise. And I can get lost sometimes. Let's just say.
Yep. Cool. I think that's a good place for us to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Few minutes early today, but that's okay. It is a holiday weekend, so no reason not to get out a little bit early. That's fine. If you have any questions about seasonality, shoot us an email, questions@stockmarketmedia.com. As always, if you want access to Ian's research and all his charts, the only way to do that is to join All Star Charts Premium. The link should be in the description, and it'll hop on the screen there at the end, and you can get the chart of the day as well. Yeah, the link to join All Star Charts Premium is literally in the description. It's allstarcharts.com/join. Become a member, get all of Ian's charts, his exclusive videos he does for his members, and you can actually be able to email Ian and he'll respond to you.
Yeah.
I will not give Ian's email out on the show. If you want to reach him through me, you have my email on the screen right there. Happy Labor Day, everyone. I'll be back in about an hour from now to do one last video for the week, just a casual one to learn. We'll hang out. Maybe we'll get a glass of wine or something. I don't know. And just talk about what we're doing here. And I'll take any questions you've got for me then about our products and what you want to see and what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Ian, you're going away this weekend. I'm going away this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend for everyone. And you'll be back on a Wednesday, right?
Yes.
I will not be there, but you'll be back on a Wednesday, 11:30 Eastern time. And then we'll both be back for next Friday's show. So, yeah, that's it. Have a good one, everyone.
See you guys. Thanks for watching.